What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel Sports Life and Politics TV. I'm Samuel Koppel, YouTube's #1 couch detective. I'm here for the news. And here recently, I've been missing in action. I haven't been doing videos. And the reason is, my wife broke her leg. She broke her fibula, tibula, and tore the ligaments in her ankle in a gruesome accident on the stairs. So she was able to have surgery the other day. They put some permanent plates and screws in there. And now she's on the road to recovery. So shout out to her. Fast healings, but I'm back like a spinal cord, and I'm going to be going over several clips today. Starting out with the Sonya Massey case. I wasn't able to go over this. I did see this. I had some people asking me whether I'm going to cover this case, and I am. And there was an officer who went out on a call, and the call was, I think the lady was, well, apparently she was having a mental health crisis. Somehow she ends up getting shot in the head. You know, people make all type of excuses to what, why, and who did what for what reason. Was it justified? Was it not justified? And obviously in this case, looking at a lot of the clips, seemed to be completely unjustified. This officer who shot the lady has a long track record in history of being a complete screw up, and how he was able to get this job is unbeknownst to me. But it also opens up other doors to asking other questions. But let's take a look at the clip.
Department of Justice and a Springfield church will host a community healing and listening session, giving friends and neighbors a chance to mourn the loss of Sonya Massey.
The Springfield mother was shot to death by a now fired sheriff's deputy after she called 911 for help. Meanwhile, our Dave Savini has uncovered new details about that officer's past. And Dave, there are serious questions about why he was hired multiple times.
Erica and Joe, CBS News has uncovered notes from one of Greyson's former police chiefs during a reference check for his next police job. It was a warning of the trouble Greyson had already caused, and it doesn't stop there. Another supervisor said he failed to obey orders, especially during the high-speed chase you're about to see.
The red flags and warning signs were there prior to Deputy.
And they said that she had a pot of hot water. Hey, man, when you're in the house with a lady, and when they was talking to the lady, when you actually watch the full clip, which is a very long, like 30-minute clip, you can see the lady was having a mental health crisis. You have to use some kind of common sense and have some understanding and some sympathy and empathy for a person who's having a mental breakdown. Now, there are people who have mental breakdown and they have knives and swords and guns. That's totally different. But when it's a woman in a home and she calls you, hey, man, there's 1,000 different ways to handle this.
Greyson firing those fatal shots into Sonya Massey.
I'm trying to get help.
A woman home alone who called police for help over a possible intruder, but instead ended up with Deputy Sean Greyson.
What?
Greyson, who's now charged with a murder, had a troubled career that began with his...
As you can see on his arm, he has some skulls. A lot of these white boys be white supremacists. There's a lot of white supremacists in law enforcement. There's white supremacists within the military, too. So a lot of time these white boys have these law, and I'm gonna say this another thing about, especially about people who have military backgrounds. You got to be careful about what their background is. There is mind control within the military. They have a base in Texas that was called Fort Hood. They had so many cases in Fort Hood of murder and sexual assault, and I mean the amount of cases at Fort Hood, it got so bad that they had to change the name of Fort Hood. That Fort Hood's it's like Fort Chavez or something. I forgot the name of it, but it's like a Mexican name now. That's how bad it was at Fort Hood. So a lot of these people either are white supremacists or they go through some kind of mind control in some of these military bases. That ain't all military. I'm not speaking in absolutes, but you do have to, dig into some of the details.
into the Army, a discharge for misconduct, then followed by more accusations of misconduct.
Check the front yard.
During his time in law enforcement, described as having trouble obeying orders.
Brethren, the 2nd Street taken out, right?
Like with what happened here at his 5th police job when he refused an order by a superior at the Logan County Sheriff's Department to terminate a high-speed chase over a traffic infraction, his speed at times reaching 110 miles per hour.
And they said his 5th job, and you wonder why would they keep hiring him. My assumption is probably I would have to lean towards military and that he's white, but I would say military and well, probably both military and that he's white. And sometimes white people they like to give each other second chances. Is that normal? 100%. Within this society, white people are going to give each other second chances, and you know there are black people who get second chances from time to time in certain situations. But these white boys, the most unbelievable part, they be getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chances and be violating all the rules.
I'm about to terminate. She's flying up 121 right now.
But Greyson didn't stop. He did, however, turn off his lights and siren, but kept going anyways until he hit a deer.
Well, I'll definitely be terminated because a buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
Did you violate any landlord?
And he knew he was gonna get fired. Well, I'll be terminated. He's so used to getting fired. He like Jazz on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's trying to get thrown out the house at this point.
Yes. From a supervisor about termination.
Greyson was questioned by a deputy chief and other top staff after that crash in Logan County.
Do you agree, before we conclude this, that there's a mountain of policy violation?
Hey, listen to the words. Do you agree before we conclude this, that there's a mountain, not 1 or 2 violations, not a violation here and there. He said a mountain of policy violations. And Greyson said, yes, I do. Policy violations. That's who I am. Unbelievable.
That you committed 7 months on. How are you still employed by us?
7 months. Even the deputy chief Miller is like, how the hell are you still employed by them? Who is calling the shot? Did I hire him? He asking the question. He's like, who hired you? How did you get on? And why are you still here? See, that's why I ask. It's always, sometimes this stuff is a little deeper than what you think, because there's no way this man should still have a job as a sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
He don't even know.
Going to pass over and over again. Even during the Logan County hiring process of Greyson, there were warning signs from another past employer, the Auburn, Illinois Police Department, where he worked in 2022. CBS News obtained these notes from a discussion.
Wait a minute. So he went from being a police officer to a sheriff. So he took a step up, because sheriffs make more than police officers, and being a sheriff is a better job than being a police officer. So that lets you know he's taking steps up. Somebody's pulling some strings somewhere. That's plainly obvious.
Between the Auburn chief and a representative from Logan County, where Greyson had applied for a new job. It states the Auburn chief said Greyson struggled with report writing, that he was very aggressive with getting drugs. The chief expressed concern that Greyson was too aggressive, and that Greyson posted his drug arrests on Facebook. And the chief called him a bragger, and was not great with evidence, left items laying around office.
He want to be a star.
Sangamon County Board member Mark Ayers is on jail.
He's filming his own episode of Cops. What you gonna do?
Committee that authorizes the hiring of new sheriff deputies. He says he was never informed of any negative notes about Greyson prior to hire, and his background was not shared with the committee.
I would never bring on someone that had that troubled past.
And his background, see what I'm saying, y'all? His background was never shared with the committee. Something ain't right. Something's rotten in Denmark.
That record.
As we have been reporting,
Somebody's lying.
Police agency since 2020, ending with Sangamon County, where he was entrusted to help residents in need like Sonya Massey. Board members Ayers said he wants changes in the hiring and screening process, along with a background review of all current sheriff deputies. Eric and Joe, there's going to be a lot of aftermath here.
Right. All right. Thank you, Dave.
Of course they is. You shot a woman with a pot of hot water. We don't even know if it was boiling hot. We'll never know that because he shot her in the head. Something's going on. Why this man has had 6, 7, 8 jobs. Why he was had all these different write-ups and in the military, and then they wasn't sharing his records from one place to the next. Somebody's pulling strings for this young man. There's no doubt about it. Let's take a look at this next clip.